As things are heating up here in the South Carolina low country real estate market, we are seeing more and more home inspections take place on contracts of sale. We want to kind of demystify what that looks like, some of the misconceptions about what's happening with home inspections. And we want sellers and buyers to be prepared and frankly excited about this important process. So let's get after it. All right, guys, today, Chris, we want to follow up. Last time we were talking about the role of the appraiser and the appraisal report in real estate transactions increasingly. And another thing that kind of goes in partnership with that is the home inspection. Mm-hmm. And so today we just want to kind of go through what are home inspections all about? What are some of the misconceptions? What are the things that you need to know? What do sellers and buyers need to know and expect out of this process? And kind of how do you navigate through it? So let's get right at it, Chris. So let's talk about a typical standard home inspector. What are they looking at? What are they looking for in their process?
Well, a home inspection, they're really focusing on three components. They're looking at safety concerns. They're looking at functionality. Do things work the way they're supposed to?
Sure.
And looking for defects, things that aren't quite right.
Right. And they're utilizing a variety of tools and equipment, and they're generally speaking looking at the entirety of the property. If it's a villa, they're even going to be looking at the outside. If it's a home, they're walking the whole property. That's really
and for the most part, most home inspections are non-invasive.
Okay.
So they're not like going through and looking through the walls or using a lot. They might have some infrared or something going on to look for heat and temperatures and things like that. But for the most part, they're looking at all the mechanical systems. They're looking at the structural components of the house. They're looking just all the things that we come sometimes miss, or a homeowner just misses because it's not stuff we look for every day.
Yeah, every day we walk through and we enjoy our property. These are inspectors. And I think that's one of the things that I think is important to acknowledge is this is their job. Yeah. They are, in fact, inspectors. They do use tools and equipment to be able to check things out. So I think it's important for people to know that. Let's go with misconceptions. Like what are home inspections not, or what are some of the misconceptions that people have about home inspections?
Well, a lot of misconceptions are, maybe one is it's not a pass-fail test. Mm-hmm. You're not sending an inspector out there to say, okay, this house is actually a good house or a bad house.
Okay.
All houses are going to have issues. All houses are going to have things that need to be discussed, even if it's just for informational purposes only. Even a home that might not have many problems at all will still have a long report maybe because it's talking about all the systems.
Sure.
Just things that the owner should know and things like that.
Well, they're documenting what's there, right? So like we observed this appliance, this air conditioning system, this fireplace, whatever. So some of it is just notating what we saw in the physical plan of the property.
Sure. And then maybe another misconception, it's not necessarily a code compliance inspection. Okay. Will they mention something that might not be to code? Yes, but they're not going around looking for code violations. This is not that type of inspection report. It could get tangled into the equation, but not always.
Yeah. Important to know too, for instance, if you had a home inspection done on a new construction. They're not a code inspector on that. They're going to be doing the same thing they would be doing on a resale property.
Sure, and even a new home is going to have a home inspection that comes up with things because it's just a different set of eyes looking at things a little bit differently, just making sure everything works and does the things that it's supposed to do.
Any other misconceptions?
Maybe the length of a report. We're seeing home inspection reports, they can be 50, 70 pages, something like that. And somebody might think, gosh, if it's that long, it's probably full of bad stuff. And you got a lot of pictures and close-ups and things like that. And you take a picture of any defect or anything that's just maybe a little off and zoom in on it, it's going to look a lot worse than it is. So a lengthy report or a close-up on a thing doesn't necessarily mean it's bad or it's not fixable or it's a red flag.
Well, my observations are that these guys and gals that do this are walking around with their software systems and they're making their observations as they go through the property. And that's producing this report that's meant to be informative. It's meant to be visual. It's meant to be detailed. What other things might that report include? Because we're seeing these things go 50, sometimes upwards of 100 pages. But again, that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad or this house is falling down. No. What else is in that report?
Well, like all the mechanical systems. So age of the HVAC equipment, and then how long is an HVAC in this area how long does it tend to last? What's the age of the water heater?
Right.
What about the appliances? Are they working properly? What are they? They'll look at the model number, serial number. They'll introduce that information, and that's awesome information to have on file. So even the buyer of a house, when they have it done, all of a sudden now they know maybe the general age of the roof. They know the general age of the HVAC. They know the general age of the water heater, and so forth. So that's a good part of it.
So it's not just problems. I guess that's really the point, is it's really documentation of the systems of the house. This is what we observed. These are some things that you need to know about. And it might pull in some boilerplate language on a particular component. Like you mentioned, hey, this is how long an HVAC system typically lasts around here, or here's a particular type of information or article or linked information on this type of plumbing system, etc. It's meant to be a useful resource by the time it comes out and is produced to the purchaser.
Sure, and about maybe 8 to 10 pages of home inspection are going to be pages that the inspector's insurance company insists they include in the report,
right,
to limit liability.
Yeah, disclaimer language and that sort of thing. And a lot of times too, what's in is just their engagement information as well. Like you've hired us, here's our background.
Yeah.
So these things can run long. And I guess one point is we just don't want buyers or sellers to be freaked out. Like just because it's a big report, maybe expect it to be coming. And if it's a little bit less than that, okay, that maybe means they didn't have as much meat on it. But it doesn't mean for sellers that, oh my gosh, this is going to horribilize the deal. And it doesn't mean for buyers that it should knock the shine off of that penny. You were all excited about the house and you got a home inspection report. It's like, what did we do? It's like, no, this is what's typical. This is what's normal.
And another thing that folks might want to know is that home inspectors, last week, or when we talked about the appraisers, it was like, you don't call the appraiser to talk about the appraisal. Well, it's different with home inspections, because a home inspector, a good home inspector, will take your call. And you can say, okay, give me a little bit more information. What'd you think about the house? Or what is this something? How do I prioritize these things? And a good home inspector is going to take the time to have that conversation with you.
Great point. And so guys, that's kind of the nuts and bolts of what's happening with home inspections in this local South Carolina market. If you are interested in hiring a home inspector, sometimes sellers do it before they go to market.
Yep.
Obviously, a lot of buyers do it while they're engaging in a contract and they want to understand the condition of the property. There may be some other reasons that you want it. If you're looking for some of the best home inspectors that we're working with in this local market, all you got to do is hit us up, leave a remark, or just email us and let us know you'd like that list of information, and we'll get it right to you. And guys, we'll see you on the next video.